Jake here for AmericanMuscle.com, and today we are checking out this Eibach anti-roll bar kit featuring front and rear sway bars for the 2008 and newer Dodge Challenger. Now, the Eibach anti-roll bar kit is perfect for the Challenger owner who is on the hunt for a high-quality adjustable sway bar kit to maximize the cornering ability of their car without compromising the ride quality. This kit comes with everything you need to swap out your OEM sway bars, including new polyurethane bushings. And the two-way adjustable bars allow you to dial in your car just the way you like it. Adjustable sway bars are some of the best handling modifications that you can make to any car. In a lot of ways, they are a no-compromise mod. They reduce body roll by a considerable margin and significantly improve the handling of any car without making it overly harsh on the street. They're some of my favorite mods to do to any car because they make such a difference in handling. Now, Eibach's kit here includes a tubular 35mm bar for the front and a solid 22mm bar for the rear. Both of these are larger than the stock units, and that added thickness here means increased torsional rigidity, which in turn will help dampen some of that side-to-side body roll you get with the stock setup. Both bars have two different stiffness settings, which allows you to fine-tune how the car behaves in corners as well. So you can dial in a little more oversteer if you prefer a bit of a tail-happy behavior, or you can set it up to be more neutral. The adjustment points are also easy to access while they're on the car as well. They're right here. So if you're headed to the track for a day or a nice windy mountain road, you can change up the settings to suit the environment and your driving style without much hassle. As I mentioned already, this kit comes with everything you need for the installation. You get both front and rear sway bars, as well as new polyurethane bushings to replace your stock rubber ones, and some grease to get those bushings nice and lubricated. The bars themselves are made from a cold-formed aircraft-grade steel, and they're powder-coated the trademark Eibach red for protection against the elements and a nice little pop of color. Now, if you're unsure if these might be right for your ride, don't just take my word for it. Go ahead and check out the reviews and photos on our site to see what other customers have said. As far as pricing is concerned, this kit comes in around $600. And while it may be a bit more expensive than other products in the category, you are getting a lot for your money. The quality of the materials is very apparent as soon as you open the box, just like we talked about a moment ago. The fit and finish on these is exceptional, and if you've never bought anything from Eibach before, well, you're gonna see why they've earned their reputation as soon as you get your hands on these. And don't forget that you're also getting those new polyurethane bushings included in the kit, which is great for longevity and added performance. So while you may be paying a bit more upfront, in my opinion, it's well worth it. This kit is really gonna make a dramatic difference in the handling performance of your Challenger. Now, I wanna dive into the install a bit. Sway bars can be a little involved depending on the car in question, and this one is no exception, coming in at a strong 2 out of 3 on our difficulty scale. And it will probably take you around 3 hours to complete. The reason for that is while the front bar is relatively simple to swap out, the rear gets a bit more involved. This one entails removing part of the exhaust, unbolting the shocks, and lowering the subframe a bit for clearance. While that is certainly doable for a DIYer with some basic hand tools and a couple of floor jacks, some might prefer to go the professional install route just due to the nature of having to move some larger bits around. But stay tuned to the next part of the video so you can see the install process in more detail and you can make the call from there.
Tools used for this installation: pry bar, exhaust grommet removal tool, 3/8 electric impact, 3/8 air ratchet, sockets ranging all the way up from 8mm to 21mm, an 18mm flex socket, a flex adapter, miscellaneous extensions, 1/2" 3/8 1/4" drive ratchet, Phillips screwdriver, 15 and 16mm ratcheting wrench, and 15 to 21mm ratcheting wrenches in different sizes, 15 and 16mm open end wrenches, 1/2" impact gun, and PB blaster. Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to uninstall and install our front and rear sway bar here on our 2013 Challenger. But first we're going to watch a quick uninstall video of how to remove the front sway bar, and then we'll jump right back with our installation.
All right, first step for the uninstall of our factory sway bar here is to take off the heat shields on both sides. They're held on by two 8mm bolts, one in the corner here and one in the top corner. So I'm going to start up here and get that off. And then down here. Taking the heat shield off exposes the bracket here for the bushing. We're gonna take this heat shield off on the other side and then tackle those bolts. All right, now I'm switching over to an 8mm swivel socket to tackle this guy because it's awkwardly placed above the sway bar. All right, now the other side. All right, now these two are 15mm bolts. I'm gonna use a swivel socket on my 15 deep socket to get the top guy off. And then the bottom. Now you wanna take this off carefully. And when the sway bar starts to swing down, once we have the other side unbolted, this back plate may fall, so just keep that in mind. All right, same thing on the other side. Once you have those bolts off, you just want to help guide it down slowly. And again, these back plates might come off, so you just want to pull them off yourself. All right, so now the sway bar is hanging on those end links. So grab a 21mm wrench. I'm using a ratcheting wrench because it makes life a little easier. We're going to use a 10mm socket to hold on that stud so the ball doesn't spin. So we're basically going to crack these guys loose and work that nut off. I'm just gonna put it on one thread just until we get the other side done too. All right, now you wanna support the sway bar by your hands. Pull that nut off there. Carefully get that end link off. Now I'm gonna put this nut back on so we don't lose it. And now we can disconnect it from the other side as well. All right, pull the sway bar off the vehicle and put that nut on. And there you go.
So now we got our stock sway bar off. I got our new Eibach sway bar here on the table. What I'm gonna do right now is we're gonna put our bushings on. They're split right down the center here. Before I do that, I'm gonna take some silicone on my finger, put it on the inside of these bushings. That'll help it when we put it together. I did that one. Now I'm gonna do this one. And just get it in there, that way it makes it easier for it to move around. Now once I have that done, I have the silicone in here, I'm going to install the rubber onto the sway bar, and it just clips on just like that. And just move it around a little bit to get the silicone on the bar. And now that we have that done, we're going to go and install this onto our vehicle. So now what I'm going to do is put our sway bar up into place. I'm going to sit it into the grooves here, move our bushing like that, and I'm going to hold it in the center. I'm going to put one clamp on it. And try to start one of our bolts. Might be a little trickier than what you'd think, but once you get it started, now these are a lot thicker than the other factory ones, so you're going to have to definitely push down on it to get it to go into place. Pretty much like that, just to get the bolt started. And I got that one started. I'm going to do the same on this side. Spin the bushing so it sits like that. The clamp on. Bottom one started. Push it on the top. Get the top one started. Now that we have them both started, gonna make sure everything spins. I'm gonna take my 3/8 gun with my 15mm swivel. Run these in. Same on this side. Tighten them up. Make sure we got movement. Now we'll hook up our sway bar links. So now I'm going to put my sway bar link on. I'm going to put it on the outer hole for now. Got it started. I'm going to take my 1/2" impact with my 21mm, tighten it up. Now you're going to want to just repeat that same procedure on the other side. Now we'll install our shield onto our sway bar. I'm going to put my 8mm back in that we took off. And then we'll install this one over here. And now I'll take my 3/8 gun with my 8mm on, tighten these up. And I'm going to take it again, but this time I'm going to put a swivel on it so I can get in there. Try to get up on the side here. Now you're just going to want to repeat that same procedure on the opposite side. So now that we have our front installation done, we're going to watch a quick uninstall video of how to remove the rear sway bar, and then we'll get right back with our installation.
So now we get to the fun part. The sway bar in the rear, it's just on top of the subframe. So that pretty much means we're gonna have to disassemble all of the stuff in the rear. Now we're gonna try to make this a little bit easy on ourselves just by unbolting this subframe and lifting the car away from it a couple inches. Hopefully at that point we can get the sway bar out. If not, we're gonna have to disconnect some fuel lines, get a little bit dirty with the gasoline. Same thing goes for the drive shaft. We're gonna try to skip that stuff for now and just get a little bit of room in there so we can pull out the sway bar. If not, we're gonna show you how to do that. But first things first, regardless, this exhaust is gonna have to go. Now it does have a couple hangers in the back here. Don't worry about the rubber isolators. Take a 13mm socket, loosen the hangers off of the Challenger, and then we're just gonna work our way back to the mufflers. We're gonna get those off as well. So 13mm socket on an extension. We're just gonna get up to this bolt here. And we're just gonna come back about a foot and do the same thing for this hanger bolt as well. Now the next hanger right after the mufflers here, this one is welded on, so a little bit of pry bar work later to get that out. We should be free. Now, I have that fancy exhaust hanger removal tool that really helps you out with those. This clamp has a 15mm nut. I'll loosen that up, I'll slide that over, and then we can pull off the tailpipe. Now our muffler is gonna have to come out as well. Our drive shaft is gonna hit on the actual body of the muffler. If you have an aftermarket exhaust, you might be able to get away with it. Same thing goes for the other side. Next, we're gonna have to unbolt this brake line bracket right here, held on with a 10mm bolt, which is all the way up here behind this fender liner. They give you a cutout here, but it doesn't really give you access to the bolt, which is a little bit strange. However, it is pretty coarse threaded, and that means you can come up here with the tiny 10mm on the ratchet, and in a couple cranks that should come loose. We're gonna do this for both sides. Now that is hooked up in there. Now once you release that hook, pull this down, you can see it at the top. You should get a little bit more flex out of that brake line. That's exactly what we need. And here we are over on the other side. It's actually even a little bit tighter over here, but a small pin should do the trick. It's all exactly where I landed, so we can unhook that bracket and pull it away from the Challenger. Now we can do the top of our sway bar end link, 16mm socket for the nut side, 15mm socket for the bolt head. And we're just gonna work that bolt out of there. We're gonna do the same thing over here on the driver's side as well. Now we're gonna remove our upper shock mount. Two 16mm bolts hold this on. U-joint helps, small extension will help you get to these. We're also gonna need to disconnect these two wheel speed sensors here. And to do that, just press on the red release tab and then the release button. There you go. And do the same thing for this one. It can put up a little bit of a fight, so the flathead is your friend. So now we're ready to try unbolting our subframe. It's held on with four 18mm bolts, one in each corner. As you can see, ours is supported by this table here and a couple of wood blocks. So once we have it disconnected, we're gonna lift the Challenger up just enough to get that factory sway bar out, and then we can get our new Eibach in. Now, if you don't have a lift like this one, which let's face it, most of you guys probably don't, I'm sure you could get this done with a few jacks and wood blocks in the driveway. Now these can be a little bit tough to get out, but we're not going to remove them all the way just yet. Just to make sure this subframe doesn't slide around anywhere, we're gonna leave these threaded in just a little bit. Now we're gonna hit this front one. You are gonna need an extension to get up through this plastic piece here. So now we're just going to raise our Challenger away from the subframe. One thing to note is when you separate the body from the subframe, the springs are gonna wanna fall out, so don't be surprised. Have a good hand on your springs before you lift your Challenger. All right, so everything went pretty smooth. We got about a solid 5 to 6 inches out of travel. As far as the subframe goes, that should be enough for you. We're gonna try to get the air ratchet in there. I know I can get this one in the front, however, this one in the back, that's probably gonna need the ratcheting wrench. Then we can take that bushing bracket off, hit the other side, and hopefully start to fish this guy out. On the driver's side, you can get both of them with the air ratchet, plenty of room in there. Enough to land a 747, honestly. So, now, bracket can go, and we start the removal.
So now we got our old sway bar removed out of our car. I'm going to start and reinstall our new sway bar here. As you can see, it's a little bit thicker in diameter, but that's not going to make a difference. It's going to take a little bit of finessing to get it through here. Now, if you're doing this on the ground and you got your car down on a jack, just make sure you give yourself plenty of room to get in here. So we're going to take this now and we're going to start fishing through our opening here. Once we get it in there, I'm gonna have to go over on the other side and pull it through the rest of the way. So now we got our sway bar in place. I'm going to put our brackets on top of our sway bar bushings here, and then take our two 15mm bolts that I have. Might be a little hard for you to see, just with me trying to get my hands in here, but I'm gonna push the bracket down over top just like that. Get our two bolts started. Now once I get them started, I'm gonna take my 15mm on my ratchet, get in here. We'll get these tightened up. Now you're going to want to just repeat the same procedure on the other side. So now we have our sway bar in place. We have our 4 15mm tight here. What we're going to do now is lower our body back down onto our subframe and then get our 4 subframe bolts started. So now we got our car down in place on top of our subframe. In certain cases on some of these cars, you might have to remove the coil spring, take it out to get the subframe back up in. If you do, then you're just gonna have to get underneath it, take your lower control arm bolt out, and then put your coil spring back in that way. In our case, we were able to get it up in. I'm gonna tighten our 4 bolts and take my 19mm or my 1/2" gun, tighten them up, and then our subframe will be back in for good. So I'm just gonna get up in here with my extension and my 1/2" gun. Tighten that one up. Get under here. Tighten that one up. Now you're going to want to just repeat that same procedure on the other side. So now we're going to reinstall our two 16 millimeters up here. And I'm going to take my 3/8 gun with my 16 millimeter flex socket and run these in. Now you're going to want to just repeat that same procedure on the other side. So now we're going to install and put our brake line back in place and start our 10 millimeter. Right there. I'm going to take my 3/8 gun with my 10 millimeter, tighten that one up. You're just going to want to repeat that same procedure on the other side, and then you're just going to want to put your push clip in. Ours is missing, but you're just going to want to do that whole thing on the other side. So now we're going to hook up our sway bar and take my bolt that we took out of our factory one. I'm going to stick ours into the outer hole for now. When you get yours all put together, you can adjust it however you would like. And we'll put our nut on the back. I'm going to take two ratcheting wrenches, a 15 and a 16 millimeter. Try not to drop it like me, and just tighten it up. Now you're going to want to just repeat that same procedure on the opposite side. So now we have everything hooked up. We're going to go back under here and hook our wire connectors up that we disconnected. Just push them in like that, push your red tabs in. Same on this one. Next, we'll start reinstalling our exhaust. So now we're going to install our exhaust. I got my buddy Joe here, who's going to give me a hand because I'm short and little. He's going to put that up in place, and I'm going to get the front started. And we'll get a bolt started to hold it up in place. Nice, and now we'll finish tightening that up. So now I'm going to put our other bolt in, and I'm going to use my 13 millimeter and my 3/8 gun to get it started and run it in. Now we'll finish tightening this one that Joe started. Now we'll go on to install our rubber hanger up here. Now we'll install our rubber grommet onto our hanger right here. I'm going to just get it to start a little bit, and then just move the next we'll go up front, tighten our two 15 millimeters up. Now I'm going to take my 15 millimeter on my 3/8 gun, tighten these two up front. Now we're going to install this muffler. I'm going to get it up into place, slide it onto our flange up front, and tuck it up inside here. I'm going to take one of the 13 millimeters that we have here and start it to hold it up there. And then we'll go back here, take our springs with our flange nut on it. Just gonna get them started. Now I'm going to work my rubber grommet here into place. And we'll snug these up. Now we'll put our rest of our 13 millimeters in and tighten them up. So next we're going to take our 13 millimeters and put our bolts back in our hangers up here. I'm going to take my 13 millimeter socket on my gun, put them in and tighten them up. Now I'm going to tighten up our 2 flange nuts right here. I'm going to take my 13 millimeter on my gun, tighten these up. Do the same for the other side. And that'll wrap up this install.
Well, that about wraps it up for our review and install of the Eibach anti-roll bar kit for 2008 and newer Dodge Challengers. Thanks for watching, and for all things Challenger, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.